Hello once again, everyone. This is Mrs. Trefry coming back with all of the answers to the problems that you just went through. So, I hope that you practiced well. The first question is this car problem, talking about the four-fare lane, which is 1966. But the thing is, it's not really relevant or important about that piece of information. What matters is the scale. The scale and what the measurements are that are given. So you have 1 centimeter is equivalent to 25 feet, and then here in the middle you are told that the actual car, or the model of the car, forgive me, is 19.4 centimeters long. So we're going to set up our proportion, and we're going to say that 1 centimeter is equivalent to that 25 feet. Then we look at our measurements, and we're given that this one is in centimeters. So there's a reason why we always write them down, so that we make sure that we get everything placed in the correct spot. Centimeters go with centimeters and feet go with feet. And of course we can see here that we are not given feet, so that's going to be our unknown, our variable. So then we're going to use cross multiplication here and multiply 19.4 times 25, which is 485. And that's going to be set equal to the cross product here, which is 1 times x, which equals 1x. Well, I'm sure that you guys have realized by now that 1 times anything is still itself, which is called the identity property, if that happens to come up. And the identity property says 1 times anything is indeed itself, and if I divide anything by 1, it's still itself. So, when we divide that out, the obvious answer now is 485 feet, because that's what we're searching for, is feet. Alright, moving on. With our next problem, we are given that you have a toy soldier that is 5 centimeters tall, and you're asked for the dimensions of a room if you were to build it for that toy soldier. So, we know that the height of a real person is 70 inches, so we can actually derive a scale from that and say that every 5 centimeters is equivalent to 70 inches. So that's our scale. Then I'm using this rectangle right here to represent the length of 144 inches and the width of 120 inches. And we're going to make a little doorway in the room. And it says that that is 36 inches. And that little mark here denotes inches. So now you're asked to find the answer to each one of these. So we're going to start with the 120 inches for width, which means we're searching for centimeters. So that's where our variable is going to go. And I'm going to put a little W up here to represent width, so I don't forget what I've done and what I haven't done. So I have 5 times 120, which is 600. And I'm going to set that equal to the cross product here, 70 times x, which is 70x. To solve, I need to divide both sides by 70 in order to make this 1x. So in the end, x is going to equal 8.57 centimeters. The next one that we're going to deal with is the length. So we're going to use that exact same ratio to start with. 5 centimeters is equal to 70 inches. And now we're going to use the 147 in order to solve. And x is in centimeters. So 5 times 144 is going to equal 720. And I'm going to set that equal to the cross product of x times 70, which is 70x. Again, I'm dividing by 70. So that equals 1, or 1x. And 720 divided by 7 is going to give me a value of 10.29 centimeters. And lastly, the doorway. Start off with the exact same ratio again. And I'm dealing with 36 inches. And again, centimeters is my x. So now 36 times 5 is going to give me a value of 180 equal to, again, 70x. Divide by 70 once more. And x will equal 2.57 rounded. And that's in centimeters. So now we have all three of our dimensions, so we know exactly how to build this for this little toy soldier. All right, moving on to the state of Michigan and looking at the scaling. If you've ever looked at the maps, this is how it looks on a map, and also if you have a GPS, this is how it works on your GPS. It's going to tell you how far it is from one location to the other and how long it's going to take you. And it's based on this scale. So you're asked for the actual distance between the two cities, and we're going to use that ratio of 1/2 inch per every 5 miles. Well, this 4 inches goes with the inches. Inches go with inches. And we don't know the miles, so that's where x comes in. So now we're going to cross multiply 5 times 4, which is 20. Cross multiply the other direction. 1/2 times x is 1/2 x. Then we're going to divide both sides by that 1/2. Half divided by half is just simply 1, or 1x, which equals x. And to take anything divided by a half, that's the same thing as doubling. So 20 divided by 1/2 is 40. And we know that's in miles. All right, lastly, we're going to go to the other side of the world and talk about the Eiffel Tower. Interesting fact that it was built in 1889, but that's really not the important piece of information. What is important, though, is that its height is 986 feet, and a scale model of it will be represented by 1 inch per every 60 feet. So we're rounding our answer to the nearest tenth. Tenth is the first decimal place after the ones. So we're going to set this proportion up with 1 inch set to every 60 feet. Well, then we know that in feet it's 986 feet. So that means we're searching for the value in inches. So x will represent the missing number of feet, or inches, I apologize. So we have 1 times 986, which is 986. And that's going to be equal to the cross product this way. 60 times x is 60x. Divide both sides by 60. 60 by 60 is 1. And 986 divided by 60 is 16.43 repeated. So that's not going to round up, so that is the value, but it asks you to round to the nearest tenth. So we're going to come back down here, and rounding to the nearest tenth means it's 16.4, because this is the first decimal place, which is the tenths place. This one tells me whether to round it up or leave it the same. Well, since it's less than 5, the 4 remains as is, and our final answer is 16.4 inches. That is all I have for you today. I hope that you had fun, and I look forward to working with you again in the future. Good luck.